So finished off, we got the waves in. Not sure if the waves are all working yet because right now the death check is not set up to increase collie kills when something kills. So that's the next part that needs updated. If the source is a gladiator, so if the player is a gladiator, then this handles giving out the prizes. We'll get to there eventually. Let's see if we can find the logic for if it's a Coliseum monster. Like right here. Here's our Coliseum logic right here. If the thing that died, so the source, so whatever's activating this procedure, which would be whatever died, is a of the type of mob monster Coliseum. So anything that falls under there, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, will be of this. Add to our collie kills. So I did go ahead and put that in already. If collie kills is between 30 and or equals 30 and it's not been announced, then it's time to announce that the next wave started, and then the next wave started, and then the next wave started. These will need updated. What I'm hating right now is that these numbers are now all different than these numbers. So I think it's time to address this, right? Var global, and this doesn't have to be a global. The reason I'm being pretty lax with globals is because there's one Coliseum in the world, and there's only meant to ever be one Coliseum per server. And so it's okay if it's global. I could have made a Coliseum object, created that one Coliseum object as a global object, and then all of that would be contained inside of the Coliseum object when the server starts, but I'll just keep it as individual variables for ease of my energy right now. I'm going to make a list, and this list is going to be Collie wave levels. All right. I could make this an associative list, like level 1, level 2, level 3. I think I'm just going to treat it as an array. This gets dangerous when you don't document it and someone comes back later and they're trying to figure out what in the world this random array means and the various pieces and parts of it. I believe in Beyond, I was looking it up just a second ago, and from what it looks like, Beyond is 1 indexed, so it means the arrays start at 1 and go to the full number 10 in your array. So what I'm going to do with this is say each index represents the should I make it the max kills? Probably. for that particular yeah, the max kills for that for a wave level. So now we could do, I'm going to do it right here under Collie spots. Comment this real quick while I'm here. Initialize Collie spots with all Collie areas. I'll come down here. I'm going to say Collie wave levels 1 equals 30. I think that was the max. Then number 2 equals 40 or 150. Make sure I'm doing this right. It's been a while since I've done any arrays. Oh, you're not allowed here. Yeah, because it's not going to allow you to do an assignment just without it being inside of a proc. So when the world first gets created, I'll go ahead and set it up here. That should make it happier. Yeah. So now what that allows me to do is take this variable right here. This is the max. And then since that's now the minimum, and then Collie wave levels 2 would be here. After 30 monsters are killed, it's doing the same thing, right? Except for now, instead of having to change it here and change it here and anywhere else I want to do it, I'm just going to change it in one place right here, what the minimum is, and it's going to change it for the whole server. What this also allows me to do then is I could set up some GM commands to change these directly, so I can make waves last longer or shorter. If I wanted to have like a custom event real quick without having to reboot the server, I could do that just by running a few commands in the game and fix it that way. So then I'd go back to here, right? Collie kills equals Collie waves level 1, and it's time to go to Collie wave level 2. And if it equals Collie wave level 2, then it's time to go to level 3. Let's just see how that's going to work, if it's going to work. I have to kill 30 monsters real fast. That's going to be annoying. I give myself a little tool to do that once I get in game here. Let's take a look at this dagger real quick. So what you guys can't see is on another screen right now. I have this going on. This is my edit menu when I'm doing GM edits. It's just an HTML page that loops through every variable, gives me a link to each variable so I can set it, change it to whatever I'd like. This has been around since before I worked on this project. What I'm going to do is set the delay on this from 1 to 0.1. I think I have to do 0.1 and beyond. And now the stagger will hit as fast as I can possibly. Press the button, max power. I mean, it hit 10 times a second. I can press it faster in this perfect world. We put the max power at 8,000. This should allow me to insta-kill any of these Coliseum monsters. Equip that. Let's go find those Coliseum monsters. I got another GM command for warping to the Coliseum. This is generic GM commands, not specialized for this particular dev setup. If this was going to be a larger project, taking more than 10 hours, I'd definitely be making a set of GM commands just for that. So like when I made AI, I put in quite a few GM commands just for modifying AI, and I don't see any. Maybe I have a couple left over here. Uh, Maybe I didn't leave it in here. I might have left it in here. View brain, update brain. So if I wanted to update the AI directly, I could do so with those two commands. So I did leave those in, but generally, if I'm just doing like a 10-hour update, I won't make a whole set of GM commands just for that. But when you're doing, 10 hour or 20, 30 hours plus, and then having to test everything you dev, it's important to have tools to save every minute you can, right? I probably spent 20 minutes putting together the GM commands, and it saved me hours of time. So what you see going on, I don't know why the things are disappearing from the floor. I'm going to have to figure that out. Uh, so it should have announced to the world that the next wave was starting, because it did start the next wave. So remember, I upped this to 120 from 30, which may just be way too much, but we'll see. Some players can actually clear it this fast. Oh, close to this fast. So I'm not sure what's happening at this exact moment. All right. We got to wave 2. I did not see any announcements come through, which is one of the things I was looking for, which tells me something's off. And now it's time to go try and fix it. I'm guessing announce 2 is equal to 1. I do like to put this in front of my global variables just so I know where it's coming from. So that's something I should do going forward here. I didn't do it in these various places. I probably should have. Because I was well, when I was doing this, I didn't think about it, but when I was doing it, fixing it throughout the code, I was mass replacing, so I didn't think to do it. I can do it now, though. Well, yeah, we'll go ahead and do it. shouldn't start fixing other things before you fix whatever's broken, and I don't even know what's broken at this point. But I'm gonna do fox paw here and do it anyways. Faux pas and do it anyways. I pretty much want that everywhere except for right here, right? And then you want to go back to here and get rid of it right there. Same thing with all these spots. Right there. I did do it right there, the way I was supposed to. In there. Interesting. I didn't know we actually put the kill number when you spawn them, or maybe that was just supposed to be the. Take a look at that here. See if I broke anything with that. Nice. Good, let me keep my sword. Looks like it. Until I don't actually use the planet gate much, I just use my GM commands usually to get around. I went to the right place, did I? Oh. So you're like sitting here like, man, you're wasting a lot of time. Exactly. And this is just supposed to be a 10-hour thing. Maybe I should just go ahead and build the GM commands. So they say wave 1, but supposedly there's a tag on these things telling me how many kills have actually happened when they get spawned. So you have to look at a brand new one to know. Maybe we just get rid of the quote-unquote announcement array variable. It should be unneeded because this should only happen once. Every time you kill someone, the number goes up. You should only be able to hit that 30 number once. Now we're up 50 right now. I don't know what's going on with the floor still. It's driving me nuts. I knew Yasha did something back in the day to modify it, and ever since then it's just messed up the arena. And everything stopped spawning. Okay. Let's figure out then why things stop spawning after that second wave, right? Let's fix these to global, just so everyone knows where it's coming from. We don't get any confusion when I'm trying to read this years from now. Wave 1 starting. Did that ever happen? I don't remember it ever happening. So the thing is, like if I go to GM and I go world, so world, I believe world still works for talking to the server. Just confused on why I'm not actually seeing anything, unless maybe this font color stuff's bugged out now. So now this is technically a global too, right? It should be marked as so. Coliseum is a global, and it should be marked as so, but worry about it at the moment. If nothing's been killed, it should say wave 1 starting. I didn't see that anywhere. Maybe I'm just straight missing things. Right now I'm going to try and figure out why the third wave never spawns, right? So wave 2 keeps spawning, meaning this is working, but somewhere, somehow, the transition from here to here stops. We go from 30 to 150, meaning, well, meaning 180 should be spawned, not 150. Is that right? Total max should be 180, not 150. Well, it shouldn't matter because it's just total kills. Go back. This is just yuck. I'm going to put a switch in here because I don't know what a switch is. Programming switch. Let me see here. Looks like this. So it's like a if statement where you check one variable. Notice how they continuously check one variable while they're checking two. And then it responds accordingly. So I'll probably just do a switch statement. If collie kills equals this, then do that. Instead of this big long string of ifs, it is this big long string of ifs, but it's more efficient in the way it's coded under the hood and in the assembly. Meaning every time something dies that's a Coliseum monster, it's not going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 checks, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 checks per monster. And we already know we're killing 1,700 monsters, so 1,700 times 16, there you go. That many checks, just because the way this is coded, can be brought down to one check technically, or 2 checks behind the scenes per monster kill instead of 16, which is a significant save of resources. Right now we're still trying to figure out why wave 3 does not start. cares much about this page yet, I don't think. This is just all announcements from what I can tell. Announcement. Boss started. We're gonna get rid of that. If it's a wave 1 and our colleague kills is greater than 30, subtract 1. So it's taking away the score if you kill a wave 1 after wave 30. That is exactly what I don't want. I think we can just wipe this whole section here. I'm still not sure what mcheck does. I never went and figured it out. Guess we can take time to do that now, but this all here, granted the mcheck's not some like super core mechanic that is poorly commented. We're just going to wipe this whole section here, I believe. mcheck. All files. 16 times, that's not too bad. Check to see if an MVP is in sight. This code's commented out, it doesn't even use this. If so, then adds MVP to the check bar. If MVP is not on the screen, that gives XP to the player who killed it. Interesting. It's all been commented out, so it's not even used anymore. A lot of this is like really old code that I took out at different points. Something about MVPs. Whoever did the most damage gets the experience. I think we just took that out and made it whoever does the last hit. We could put it back in, and then if your pet does more damage than you, then it gets experience. But if we leave it, but if we do put it back in, then the only way your pet is going to get experience is if it does more damage than you, or you're splitting experience using the split thing. The way it is right now, whoever gets the last hit takes the experience. So is mcheck simply for that. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's actually being used for anything. This is all the mchecks in the game down here at the bottom. Mcheck 0, mcheck in the global. If that's GM check, that's not even mcheck. Mcheck equals 0. Mcheck's not even used anymore. It's going to get wiped from all these. Just going to get rid of the existence of mcheck as if mcheck was never even here. Meaning I also don't need these. I don't know what exactly it was doing with these. But it doesn't matter because it's not part of our mechanics anymore. Another mcheck here. Another mcheck, not needed. I believe it had to do with the MVP stuff. Why they didn't call it MVP check, I don't know, but no longer an issue. So I'm guessing by taking that out, it's going to fix what was happening, because whenever it would get past wave 2, it would start subtracting the kills when you kill something. So let's fingers crossed that fixed the not spawning bug. I still don't have the announcements going on, so that's my next thing to tackle if we fix this. So this is the chat pane down here, meaning any world out should go to here, right? This all goes to world over or colon. Unless I'm missing some menu. There's a damage menu too, but I don't think I do world shouts through there. Bang, bang. Okay. Right here is where the world shot went. So there's wave 1 starting, meaning if you're just slashing stuff, you are not going to see that. You're not going to see it down there. Because that's your combat log, right? So I should probably do it over on the, I don't know, over on the text side. I'll ask on the Discord. You know, if you're actually paying attention, then it might matter. But if you're not actually paying attention, then people may not care. This is not auto-scrolling. That's driving me nuts. Come on, Beyond. Do what you're designed to do. Should be able to get to wave 3 now if everything. Worked successfully. There's wave 3. And he's on me. Okay. Wave 4 happened right there. I mean, if you're in it, you can see it. Whoa. Wave 3 starting. Wave 7. Oh. That's, the mini boss came. We went wave 3 starting, and then we went wave 7 starting. So we got something new happening there. Too bad. Because we went wave 5. So then it should have been wave 6. Then it should have been wave 7. So, but those are the announcements, right? And it looks like it bugged out again. So something's happening around wave 6, 5, 7, somewhere in there. I guess right in here, right? Wave 2 went. Notice we don't have this going on. So these are all hard. Oh, I see. So these were hitting way earlier than they should have, announcing things that should not have been happening yet. Then it spawns its own wave 6 monster here. Right where it wants it to be. I see. And so wave 10 monster here. Okay. I see. I see what's going on there. So this is what I was talking about with code being dispergent all over the place. Like, you know, I did a quick scan of it, and that's what we talked about the other night. For some reason, right here, it's spawning monsters inside of a death proc, which is fine if that's communicated in some way. I don't want to have to read through the 3,000 lines of code I've read tonight to find that, or 1,500 lines of code I've read tonight to find that, right? So something weird's going on there with that. And then I didn't finish programming these. So those are going to need fixed. But it stopped spawning around like wave 5, wave 6. I don't know if that's because the mini boss, quote unquote, spawned. And it put the collie spawns above the maximums. So in reality, these should be like just a little bit ahead above, just in case, right? So put it like 10 above. And these long array, or the long argument strings are just a nightmare to read later when you don't remember anything that's happening here. I would like a way to clean that up. So I'll try to make my variable names a little better when I'm doing these long arrays, just so I know what's going in each slot. So I'm guessing what happened. Just a guess. Got the wave 6. It spawned a monster. The monster put it over the 670, but the kills weren't high enough to get it, or sorry, over the 660. Spawn amount. But no, because when you kill it, it should put it up anyways. It should put it over. So that's not it. Not exactly sure what happened there yet. We'll figure it out. What I'm going to do is this. Grab that. Put it here. Put it here. Put it there. 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 Almost done. One more. Right. It's like putting little trees, but instead it's large variable names. All right. And so now this one should be, it starts at 2, where 2 ends, and goes to 3. It starts where 3 ends and goes to 4. Starts where 4 ends and goes, does that, you following me? And goes to 5. Starts where 5 ends, goes to 6. So on and so forth for the rest of this. 7 to 8. 8 to 9. And 9 to 10. Sadly, I erased my numbers, so I have to use these sidebars to keep track of them, right? $150, next, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So one advantage if I was using a newer IDE, which is Integrated Development Environment, would be that doing copy and pastes like I just did would auto update these numbers, which didn't take much time, but if you're doing that across like say 50 numbers instead of 10, it'd be real nice. I'm just being weird right now. I want to line all those up so they're more readable for me. 280 would be the next level, or 270 rather. And 400 or 390. Yeah, I did this in the wrong order. I know what you're thinking. This could be done better, faster, more efficient. I know. This is the bad part about coding. You try and take shortcuts and it costs you time. You don't take shortcuts and it costs you time. It's kind of an art, right? Paint a happy tree there, paint a sad tree there. Or never paint a sad tree. That would be nice, but sometimes your trees are just sad. It just happens. All right. Do a compile, make sure I didn't bust anything horribly. Let's see if we can get 10 waves out this time. Notice I did leave the death code in, so no guarantees. Let me just take the timer off altogether, just so I can slam bam this thing. We're spawning over there. That's fine. Still don't know why we're blanking out spaces of the Coliseum. I'll figure that out here. It's just very, very weird. On wave 2, which takes a few hundred. Nice part is now, if I wanted to, for testing purposes, I could just go back through, set all those to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is what I'm about to do. And then I can just go through all of it. And then finally, before I actually get the final submit, I'll do one real run, which will take 20 minutes, right? I don't want to spend 20 minutes going through every single wave. See, it said wave 5 starting. That was because that hasn't been updated. Last time it spawned a mini boss. Alright, so stop spawning. I really need to print the kills to the screen. That's what's going to happen next. That's more important to me than the announcements. Alright. Believe it or not, I can't remember exactly how the chat works, so I have to go look. It's like chat. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you have to tell it to go to chat by an output function. Alright, no big deal. Thanks for your help. I'd like these announcements to not be going on in death. Honestly, I don't want it writing this code or loading this code into every single mob even. Ugh. So what I could have it do is have this code call back to Coliseum for a function for announcements. Or I can leave it here for announcements. Yuck. I don't want to. I don't want to. So what we're going to do here is we're going to leave that if statement and we're going to do keep the collie kills going up because that's what should happen every time something dies. Then we're going to do a switch. Remember, behind the scenes, things go a little differently. The switch we're going to do it on is collie kills. I don't care about announcements because it's only going to hit that once per Coliseum run because of the way we changed the whole structure of it, in theory. I copied and pasted. I needed to leave my, luckily it's down here. My output is what I wanted to do here. Output, I want to go to world. Output. This big old chunker here. And put it right there. Is the idea. And now I can just do a nice comment like this. Wave 1. And I should be able to get rid of this. All this is, or sorry, wave 2. Wave 2. Should be able to get rid of this. in theory. We're going to take all this and convert it to this. Not much cleaner, but better. Better behind the scenes. It actually, like I said, saves, what, 14 checks each time something dies, which is a lot. It has to be a constant. That's why the switch, okay. Does it have to be a constant in other languages? I gotta look this up now. Do switch statements have to be constant? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why switch statements are more powerful. It's because you're using static comparisons. Mm. So this means I have to make a design choice here. I can leave it updatable, meaning I could do GM functions so I can do weird Coliseum events and change the number of waves needed at any given point. Or I can make the declaration of the global variables constant. And then I don't have to deal with 1700 times 2, or sorry, 1700 times 14 extra checks every time a Coliseum monster dies, right? Total checks. 14 extra checks every time a monster dies. Because, I mean, for all intents and purposes, that check is constant, but the way it works behind the scenes is the switch statement compiles into a hard coded assembly that can short circuit jumps to different logic gates or logic sections based on those constant values, which makes sense. That's a bummer. I was trying to be fancy. Well, not too big of a deal. I'll just take I'll take the 14 extra comparisons hit, even though it's only being done. I could. It's only being done for announcements, which is just ridiculous. 14 comparisons for an announcement. I've gotten to where I'm trying to over efficient everything because of issues we've had in the past with the CPU spiking and me having to go through and rewriting things like this, but it's okay. The idea being I could just make this an else if chain. I mean, I could get, if I was really worried about efficiency, I could do something really crazy, like just put the announcement inside of the monster, and then when the monster dies, call the monster's announcement. So it knows what wave it is, right? But that causes other complications. Let's just swallow the pill and do what's required here and stop over engineering this thing, right? Boom, done. See if we can get the wave 2 now. I'll do something real quick. I just wanted to tell me that it's at wave 2. I don't want to know all the other stuff yet. Could I just code a humongous chunk and then test? Yes. Do I make lots of small mistakes as you've seen tonight? Yes. So if I do a humongous chunk, then I have to spend that much more time debugging to figure out what I actually did wrong, which I've gotten significantly better at over time, but debugging is not why I do this, believe it or not. I missed the Coliseum the first time, so I have to go back through. Thank you. So wave 1 starting, I need to change that announcement too to be a world output. I mean, it is still a world output, it's just going down into the combat window. It's one of those things that probably should go in chat. Because if you're actually fighting like I am, you're not going to see it, right? Granted, you're not usually killing things this rapidly unless you're one of the... Yeah, there we go, wave 2 starting. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Alright, I'm going to go fix that over here too. There it is. It's output, and then, okay. So it's inside of an output function. Put your string you want, and then the box it's supposed to go to. Just chat. Bang. Bang, bang. Global.colliekills. What we're going to do is Coliseum Challenger. Coliseum Challengers have defeated enemies. Alright, so what that should do now is every 50 kills tell us the kill count. Like I was saying, 5 minutes tops, right? That only took you 30 seconds to add that line. Well, here's where the 5 minutes comes in, right? It took me 30 seconds to code that line. Now I'm going to go test that. If it works, I'm done, and it took me 3 to 4 minutes. If it doesn't work, I have to go change it, and hopefully it won't take me more than the 5 minute estimate that I estimated in the Discord, right? Oh, I was going to ask Discord something. And I totally forgot to write it down, and it is just gone now. Maybe I'll go back and watch this later and re-find it. I was going to ask them because I came up with a new question, but it is gone. Wave 1 starting. Great. So people aren't even going to know. You know, the only way they know wave 2 is here is because it's going to tell you wave 2. But I do want to see if at 50 kills it tells me you got 50 kills, man. The Coliseum Challenge defeated 50 enemies. There you go. And then when I get to 100, it should say 100 enemies, so on and so forth. What I can do is when the Coliseum ends, I can make it 100. There we go. All right, so that's working. So that took me roughly 4 minutes, roughly. My estimate was 5 minutes, right? If it hadn't worked, I would have had to come back here, change it, retest it again. The testing is what takes a significant chunk of this time because I can't just throw some code in there and then say, all right, let's load it to live. You guys, you know, are monsters. You abuse the code as is. You abuse every bug to its maximum ability. People cried, you know, not fair, foul. The game will never be played again when I fixed the shield bug that made you invincible, right? So I can't just throw code in here. I have to test it. That's what takes a significant amount of time. Could I make an auto testing suite? Yes. Can you auto test changes like that? The way auto test works is it tests all the other mechanics to see if you broke something that already exists through some set of inputs. So you could make something like that. The size of this game, that would have been a great thing to create. The long-term life of this game, I mean, we always keep assuming every year it's just going to die, and then there it is, another year, another existence. You know, when you start getting into 30, 40,000 line projects like this, uh, you probably should have some way to auto test. So when I make these changes here, I'm not accidentally breaking something that was depending on that mcheck variable in some weird way that I didn't know about, right? But we're past that now. So now it is properly reporting when we get to waves, properly adding the copy kills. Next part of the process will be to add uh, add rewards, right? So I need to make it start adding rewards for the various tickets. And after we add rewards for the various tickets, which will be in this NPC down here, we'll need to make an NPC that buffs these monsters based on the item inputs here, which is where that, level 10 wave is going to get really nasty. I might additionally tweak their base stats. I don't know even what these were originally balanced around, right? Like wave 6, the mini boss is supposed to be an instant wave. I've made it a horde wave now, and its stats, it's almost 10 times stronger than wave 5, but there's only supposed to be one of them. And then you go back to wave 8 and it's 5 times weaker, right? Until you get back to wave 9 where it's back up here. And then wave 10 is it's a one giant leap. So definitely we'll need some balance tweaking on these stats here. Again, if you watch this and you catch that question I was going to ask and it's important enough to update, let me know, because I completely forgot what I was going to ask people about this particular dev time. And that happens. I'll get coding, and then if I don't, you notice I put these little comments to myself here when I'm coding. If I don't put them down, it's gone. Oh, look at there. Maybe 5x per wave. That's a whole nother thing. I was thinking about adding a multiplayer. So if you get to wave 10, you're getting more than one token per enemy killed. But is that going to be part of it? I don't know. All right. I'll catch you guys next time. Have a great night.